Yeah, with regards to that size, right? A lot of people, especially the younger ones, Teng Boo, I'm trying to wind back to when in the 1971 when you started off and the capital that you had. I don't know what was the size, but a lot of young people today said, "I'll wait till I have money, then I start investing." So, what would be the advice that you would be giving to this young people who want to start their journey, but they're already very hesitant because the lack of capital they have, and then they just afraid of being wiped out in the market and all those kind of things. Do you come across questions like these from beginners?
Every rich person, financially rich person, every wealthy person starts off poor. Either starts off poor or their father or their grandfather started off poor. Everybody started off with nothing. So how do you take from just earning a few $1,000s to be a multi-millionaire, right? So that kind of mindset is wrong because there's no magic formula where I can take you from $3,000 to $3 million in 1 year or 2 years. It's a process, and you got to go through that process, and that's where compound return comes in, right? And if you understand compound return, if you keep, there's this advertisement which I really enjoy that tells you that if you start 1 ringgit on 1st of January, and every day you keep doubling. What do you have at the end of 31st of January?
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling, right?
Yeah.
So if you use that example, and compound return takes time. Okay, you have 1 ringgit, the next day you double to 2 ringgit, after you double to 4 ringgit, right? So in the first 1 or 2 weeks, you don't see much, right? Doubling from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16 ringgit, 16 to 32. What's the big deal? 1 ringgit to 32, what can I do with it? But you continue because compound return, the longer it takes, the longer it runs, then the ending part of the compound return is where the big money is. So by the 31st January, you're looking at, if I remember, I think
1.07 billion. If it's I remember doing this because it's 10 cents, it's 107 million. If it's $1, I think it's 1.07 billion.
So John, you must be dreaming about this every day, right?
No. Actually, I'm not sure whether the ad is our ad.
Yeah.
Because it was, I don't know, was it blue in color? Do you remember the color? We actually created this ad. So we know the math very well. They're like,
we know the math very well.
Maybe Teng Boo saw it.
Great. Yeah. So you see, from $1 to $1 billion, right? Yeah. So, but in the first 10 days, that doubling $1 to 2 to 4, 4 to 8 is nothing.
Yeah.
So if you think of that first 10 days as your first 10 years, that's nothing.
That's a good one.
Right?
Yeah.
So you think that's sorry, go on. Yep.
Go on, Minja.
Yeah, so do you think that, I guess the follow-up question would be, is that first 10 years, right? How do you convince someone to stick to it and because that's the toughest part, right?
You got to do your research, you got to understand. There's no shortcut now. People think that investing in the stock market can be something that I could just close my eyes and then forget about it on the weekends. No, for me, there are only 2 ways to be financially wealthy. Either you own a successful business or you be a successful investor. And a successful investor is great because you don't have to do all the hard work that the business owner has to do, right? You can pick and choose. But to do that, you got to understand business, right?
Yes.
To some extent, you got to understand accounting because accounting is the language of business, right? And how accounting can be mucked about, manipulated, and so on. So that is a basic. So you must know the language of business, and then you must know a business. What does it take to run a business successfully?
Yeah.
You don't have to be a businessman yourself or businesswoman yourself, but you can read, talk to people, watch, observe, and see how businesses succeed and how businesses fail. From there, you can apply to the fact that the company is listed on the stock exchange. It's just make it more convenient for you.
Yes.
But the principles do not change.